How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. I've got an album review for you. Today, we're going to be talking about the new live album from Exodus. It's got a few titles, this one. British Disaster, The Battle of 89, live at the Astoria. There we go. So, now, I still mourn the Astoria. The Astoria in London was the greatest venue ever. It was an old theatre, and it was on the corner of a block of buildings just round the corner from Tottenham Court Road station, smack bang in the middle of London. So you come out of Tottenham Court Road, you can either go, you had this massive tower, I can't remember what it was called now, but I think it was a hotel, but you would then, you sort of got, you had Dominion Theatre as well, which used to have We Will Rock You, so you used to know you were there because you had this massive golden statue of Freddie Mercury going like that. It's not there anymore now. Everything's changed. But yeah, so you come out, Dominion Theatre, We Will Rock You, the big tower thing, and then you go up and you end up in Oxford Circus or Oxford Street, and or you go left and you got the Astoria, and you go down and you end up in sort of Piccadilly. In that part of London, you kind of navigate your way round by what play is being held in the theatre at the time. So I know if you go down that way, you end up where Les Mis is. And anyway, yeah, it's been my thing. I've long said I'm going to run for London Mayor as an independent. Get that fucking idiot Khan out, and yeah, I'm going to abolish the ULEZ. I'm going to abolish the congestion zone, and I'm going to rebuild the Astoria. There you go. So it could happen. But anyway, on the so you had the corner of the Astoria, and you go in and you go up some stairs, and then next door but one you had the LA2, so the London Astoria 2, and that you went downstairs, and that was a right pokey little room, the LA2. And what was weird is that you had the stage and the floor, and upstairs it was like you either sat at a table or you managed to peer through, but if you were upstairs, you were kind of like that all night. Like you had to scrunch down to see through the gap. And luckily, if you could get in one of the bars and you could get a table, that was it. You were made for the rest of the night. Just whatever you do, don't move. But and downstairs, the middle sort of went up a step. So if you was in an awkward position, you'd be constantly like trying not to fall off the bit in the middle. Don't know why they had that, but anyway, so the Astoria, I've got many great memories of. One of the best gigs I ever went to, 1999, Mr. Bungle. It was phenomenal. I saw Down at the Astoria. They after Dimebag Darrell was murdered, Phil Anselmo actually disappeared for a little while, for a good year. You didn't hear a peep from Phil, and then out of nowhere, just in the magazines, you saw the classic Down. You know, you got Jesus smoking a joint on the back of the cover, on the back of the album cover. There's that 2 nights at the Astoria Down. Everyone was just like, what's he gonna look like, you know? But yeah, I could go on all day. So yeah, it's nice to hear this recorded at the Astoria. On the 6th of March in 1989, I wasn't even 5 then. And yeah, I don't know quite what the story is. I don't know if they've sat on it all this time, or someone else has been sitting on it all this time. They've only just recently presented it to the band. It was a bit vague with the statement that the band released. But what I can tell you is that it is phenomenal. It's what's nice about this is that it kind of gives people a reminder, because obviously when it comes to Thrash, the conversation always goes to the big four, and I have to constantly remind people it's the big four, not the best four. You don't have to keep crying because your favourite band ain't in there. But often, you know, if it was to become the big five, or if one band was going to, now Slayer have retired, who's going to replace them? And it's normally neck and neck between Testament and Exodus. But one thing that this album reminds you of is that Exodus were a good headline band. Like they seem to be always relegated to like a package tour, and every live album, or most live albums I've seen, it's always like at a festival or something like this. This is nice to hear them in a theatre doing a headline show. I mean, this is a 15 song set list, sorry, and it sounds great. I mean, it sounds. I wouldn't have said it sounds like a bootleg, but it sounds raw, and it sounds. Yeah, it's raw in places, rough. Yeah, it's rough around the edges in places, but that's all the better for it, because you don't want it all. Nowadays, everything's spruced up and touched up, and you hear about people re-recording bits and all that malarkey. And no, this just sounds good. It sounds like a band that's playing live at the top of their game. On top form. I mean, at this point, they'd only had 3 albums out, so the set list is just impeccable. It's all the best songs from those first 3 albums. I say best songs, you know what I'm saying. And Bonded by Blood ain't on there, though. They do a good chunk of that album, but they don't include that song. But I'm just going through their live albums now just to make sure. Yeah, you got The Ultimate Revenge, just a couple. What was Good Friendly Violent Fun? Yeah, Good Friendly Violent Fun was only 8 songs. So yeah, it's nice to get a good live album with a good, proper full length set from the band, because, like I say, you don't often get that. And what was the other one they did? Yeah, it's always at a festival or something like that. So the entire recording is 1 hour and 17 minutes. So this is, like I say, a full headline show. So yeah, if you're an Exodus fan, surefire, you gotta get it. Absolutely essential. And if this was, it was mixed. Oh well, yeah. So it's probably just spruced. It was probably just touched up in the studio by Chris Zeus Harris. He's worked with the band before, I think. He's got a CB as long as your arm. So yeah, they probably just got the tapes and just ran it through the computer and just gave it a remaster, if anything. But it doesn't sound very. It still sounds very organic, very raw. I say you got a fantastic set list. Last Act of Defiance, Fabulous Disaster, Till Death Do Us Part, Corruption, The Toxic Waltz, A Lesson in Violence, Chemical, Piranha, Like Father Like Son, Deliver Us to Evil, Parasite, Then There Were None, Verbal Razors, and then the encore, you get Brain Dead and Strike of the Beast. It's awesome. So yeah, if you're an Exodus fan, absolutely, without question, get it. If you're not a fan of Exodus, is this a good place to start? I mean, well, it's a good one-stop shop for the first 3 albums, I suppose. But yeah, maybe not the best place to start. Maybe this is one just for the collectors. But yeah, that's what I want to say. It's a shame this didn't come out around the time it was recorded, like if just before Force of Habit came out, something like that, because I think this would have been considered a classic live album if it was released at the time, if you know what I mean. But it's a nice little relic to have uncovered, and like I say, if the band was sitting on it all this time, I don't know what they were thinking. They should have released it years ago. But if it's only been presented to them, then what a nice little hidden gem to have. The only complaint I've got, and it is only a small complaint, so as a recording, it's brilliant. But you know, I like my physical media, but you could get away with getting a download, because surely they could have, like, you just get, look, British Invasion or British Disaster, yeah. And then, you just get a load of stuff like this. And you get, like, a poster of Fabulous Disaster. Like, surely could have had, like, some tour posters or some flyers. Surely there's some shots from the actual gig. Surely there's a Kerrang review or something like that. I know Acid Rain toured with Exodus back in the day. I don't know if it was this tour. It kind of makes sense if it was. Yeah, it could have put a bit in the booklet to sort of capture the atmosphere of the show, because this artwork's pretty generic. Which pet peeve and all that. Maybe some like photos from that tour, just some photos of that time would have done. And like I say, someone somewhere must have had posters or photos of posters at the time and shots from the show. There must have been. There must be. So yeah, someone could have put a bit more effort into the presentation of the booklet. But that aside, the recording is awesome. And yeah, you've absolutely absolutely got to get it, especially if you're an Exodus fan. So yeah, I love a live album as well. So I was really happy with this. I stuck it in a laptop, burnt it, stuck it on my phone, and I listened to it as I drove to work yesterday. And I was actually quite happy to be stuck in a traffic jam because I managed to listen to the whole thing. And I listened to like the first half of it today as I was mooching about. And yeah, it's really, really good. Really, really, really glad to add it to the collection. And get it. That's all. See you later. Take care. Bye.